Like you got agricultural taking thousands of years, industrial revolution taking hundreds of years, the data centers or the information, revolution taking decades. And the theory is that like the AI revolution will happen in less than a decade.
Yeah.
So it will be years, not decades, not hundreds of years. It's gonna be like years.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's still on track for that. Like I feel like the kickoff for like the main AI revolution was like the release of ChatGPT, and that's when the light bulb moment happened for everyone. Does it sound okay?
Welcome everybody to the Paramify podcast.
Dude, yes.
We're your hosts, Kenny and Keaton.
KK.
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 Don't ever have another K person.
Wait.
Free advertising for my poison of choice.
Go Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew Zero, Sugar, Spark. I like it.
I've never had.
Well, I can go get you one.
No. I actually, this is a random fact about me. I don't drink soda.
Really?
Good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It's like I had a sip of Coke when I was like really, really young, and I hated the carbonation. And so I never drank carbonated drinks basically for the rest of my life.
That's so good.
But I've drinking every other type of poison, so just not carbonated.
Okay. So what drinks do you like?
Mainly like water.
Okay.
And like shakes. I feel like those
Water?
So
Okay.
not together though. Never
together.
Yeah,
Okay.
never mix the water and the shake.
What kind of shakes?
What was the last shake that you had? I had a pretty good one the other day.
Yeah.
Yes, but I want to hear. Okay.
The
Yeah. But I want to hear.
Dude, there was a place that I felt like had the best shake like ever. Like and it was a burger place that I think is originally from like the DC area. And
Is it in the DC airport?
it was called They opened up a location in downtown Chicago, and that's where I saw it.
Okay.
But it was called Good Stuff Eatery.
Yes.
Is this the shake you're thinking of?
Oh my gosh! I know what you're talking about.
It's like unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Okay, describe this for me.
It's just fantastic.
That excitement is like the joy you get as soon as you take
Really?
one sip of it. It's like there's something about the cream, even the whipped cream they put on it. It's like homemade, and it's just like it's the richest shake you probably could ever have, but it is like mind-blowingly good.
Yeah.
Is it like a vanilla shake or like?
No, you can't. There's so many
flavors.
flavors.
Like cookies and cream.
There's
like
lemon.
type shake.
There's lemon pie. There's like like classic strawberry. You know what I'm gonna pick? Strawberry.
Yeah, right.
So yesterday they're like, hey, we're gonna get you some ice cream, and I'm like, get strawberry.
Yeah.
And Josh, I was talking to him later. He's like, hey, did you get your strawberry ice cream? And they said no. They got me not strawberry.
So the whole rest of the team all heard, don't get strawberry.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, let's just get them like vanilla or something. We're actively avoiding strawberry on the menu. We're like,
Well, the way I give instructions is frustrating. Yeah, but anyway, oh my gosh. Yes, there is one at Reagan National.
Yeah.
And I remember having, when you go to DC, a lot of times you're going to talk to people about FedRAMP. And so it's always very emotionally draining.
Yeah.
It's very depressing.
It's a dark place.
And so it's a dark place. And so what do? If you're in Reagan, you go to Reagan National, go to, what's it called, Good Stuff or something?
Yeah, Good Stuff. And the reason it's named Good Stuff is his grandpa used to make a really good burger.
Okay.
And every first bite of that burger he would make, he'd be like, oh, that's good stuff. And so he named the stuff Good Stuff Eatery.
Oh, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
well, I'm glad we connected on that.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Everybody. So I'm Kenny. We didn't even introduce you. Neal Schmidt, AI guru, entrepreneur extraordinaire. You've done a couple things. You've done a number of things in your life, and we're just so excited to have you. You're also our friend, right?
Yeah.
So us
Rev Road
entrepreneurs,
friend.
we're just all.
man.
I feel like you and I, like, I felt an immediate connection with
Yes.
Kenny. He's a warm guy in general, but I feel like for some reason the music stuff really resonated with me because I feel like you were in the punk rock scene in
Yep.
California,
Yep.
and that was like my dream. Like when like in the year 2000, it was like,
got
dude, I
no
wish I
place
lived in
left to
California and was like doing all the punk shows out there. Like,
Let's go to the punk rock show.
that was my
darling.
first concert. MXPX was
MXPX?
my first concert
Oh
ever.
my
Wow.
gosh, dude. They put on a good show.
Yeah,
I
it was
couldn't,
fantastic.
Like, really listen to many of their albums. Okay, some of their songs are really catchy. Swing Set Girl,
Yeah.
great. It's like just super basic. What's your favorite MXPX song? I remember times I had, some were happy, some were sad. Go out every Friday night. I still wait.
Yeah, you know
we
the
used to-
words.
Yeah, because we used to like cover it. It's a really easy one.
Anytime I pick up, for some reason, anytime I pick up a guitar, not even just like a bass guitar, just like a 6-string guitar, the first thing I play is the bass line to Chick Magnet.
Keep going. Well, she's a chick magnet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That one?
Yeah. And the music videos were always so funny back then because, like, didn't it just show, like, the dorkiest guy, you know? And so, like, they're singing this song about a chick magnet. It's like this guy that wouldn't land a chick ever, but all the chicks in the video are just, like, falling all over him.
Yep. Chick magnet. Good guys. There was a song called, I think it's called Let It Happen. That was, no. That was one of their albums, right? Not Let It Happen.
They were so
It
good
was-
in concert that, like, actually my favorite album of theirs was, like,
The live album.
yeah, the live album. Yeah, because, like, it was almost like the songs were just a different, like, they had their studio songs, but then, like, the live songs that you'd see in concert were just so mind-blowingly good that when they created an album of that, I was like, dude, that's what I listened to.
Yeah, well, they just had it, right? I don't think that, I mean, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but they're just not, like, I mean, they're not super, they're super basic, right?
Yeah.
Decent songwriters, I guess, but
Yeah.
I couldn't really listen to them all. Like, I just remember songs. It's like a blessing and a curse. I remember almost everything that I hear. Like
A super memory.
yeah, I just remember it's a plague and I'll sing it. So there was a Weezer song where I felt very seen.
Yeah.
It's called I've Got Records in My Head, Spinning Out of Control. It just came out, right? And I felt just like, yeah, that's what I'm plagued with. So I'm always singing and bugging.
That's true.
It's easy to get a
Bugging
song
the
stuck in your
squad,
head.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hot, man. Can I take this off? Is that gonna mess it up? I got a mic.
I think you
I'll
should
just
be
stay still. If I stay still,
stay very still.
okay.
Then it'll be good.
Okay, man. Yeah, man.
I have a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's
yeah.
the best concert you've been to?
Oh my gosh, I've been to some crazy ones.
Yeah?
What's your best? You
So-
you said MXPX. You already
So
said.
I misspoke for a second. So MXPX was my second concert. My first concert was like, it was like a festival in Chicago. One of the radio stations
Nice.
put it on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like in the late 90s and like it like had like every single band that I like cared about. In fact, you were just drumming The Offspring. The Offspring were there. And during the Offspring set, there were 2 stages. And there was a main stage, a secondary stage.
Yeah.
And Offspring was playing second to last on the main stage, and Red Hot Chili Peppers were coming on after. And during the last song for Offspring, they played Self-Esteem. But right before he started it, he said, you know what? This is the end of the day. The festival's been going on all day. He said, you know what? He's like, this place has gotten trashed over the day. I want you to do me a favor and throw up every single piece of trash you find in this place onto the stage. And then he goes, la, 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 la. And then everything starts getting thrown up onto this stage. Like I'm getting like hit with
Underwear and
stuff. And then as soon as I get hit with stuff, I just throw it further in the direction of the stage. And so some of these items are taking like multiple throws to get up there. But by the end of this, 3-minute song, like there is a 4-foot pile of trash across the whole stage. The lead singer crawls off the stage, and the Offspring got banned from this particular venue.
Worth it.
And it took them like way long to clean this up. Red Hot Chili Peppers were kind of mad because they're like, dude, you just threw up all this garbage onto the stage and we're about to play on it.
Yeah.
And but I thought it was one of the coolest things I'd ever experienced as like a young teenager, you know? So it was
Right.
like, It was awesome. What about you?
That's awesome.
Oh my gosh, man. Well, I'm a different person than I was when I was a young kid. But I remember, so we did there. I'll just, Irvine Meadows. There was a show. I think so. The local radio station was KROQ, K Rock.
K-Rock.
They called it the world famous K Rock. I don't know if it was world famous, but that's what in my mind.
They led
it
you to
was.
believe it was.
But I didn't really listen to it a lot. But there was a show where Blink was playing and who else? Homegrown. Do you remember Homegrown?
Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah, Homegrown was playing. It was Blink and then one other band. I can't remember who it was, but in the very beginning, they said the first person up here doing something nuts, in their underwear, like you get backstage pass.
No way.
So I was like, dude, done. And I just went up and I had these black undies on and I just went in and I did the worm and everybody went crazy.
Way.
And and I got backstage and I was like back there with like Mark Hoppus from Blink.
Yeah.
They were like I'm like back there and there's all these like, there are lots of girls liked Mark Hoppus and I'm like, and there was one in particular that was talking and I didn't notice that Mark was standing next to me. Mark Hoppus. I didn't notice.
Yeah.
And she goes, I was like, who are you talking to? I'm like, hey, who are you talking to? She's like, Mark Hoppus. She's like, some fan you are. I'm like, oh, Mark? I know Mark. And she's like, I'm like, do you want to make out? And she's like,
Unlimited game.
So I was like,
Oh man.
it was so funny. And but that was a pretty fun one. And what was
Blink-182 was at the concert I was referring to too.
Oh,
They played earlier in the day, and that was like totally their style because they did like the Enema of the State, What's My Age Again, naked video, and so I feel like there was like a lot of guys that were like doing like the stage streaking like during their shows and stuff like that.
Yeah. I didn't. I was like, come on, man. Yeah.
One of my best friends ended up going pro in baseball, and like he played for the Padres. And so like we were really into Blink-182 when we were kids.
Yeah.
And then he was
San Diego.
Yeah, and then he was playing for the Padres, and one day like Tom like from Blink-182 like walked backstage, or not backstage, but like towards the locker room to meet the players or just like show his kid the players, and like he was the only person on the baseball team that was like freaking out. He was like, "Are you kidding me?" He's like this was like the moment of his life to like meet Tom, from Blink-182. But it was like a total role reversal because like Tom was going back there to be like, "Oh, look at all the cool, look, let's meet these players." Wasn't expecting any like super fan to be like back there, and it was cool. What are you cracking up about?
Dude, I'm just thinking of Tom DeLonge, like have you seen that one YouTube where they're playing Say It Ain't So, where they're playing Say It Ain't So, and he's like, all these people are acting like absolute morons in the stadium, and Tom's like, what the heck? He's like, what kind of monster have I created? Have you seen that?
No.
I don't know, I'll have to find it.
I gotta check it out.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was in a band, right? We played shows all the time. And I remember going to the Glass House a lot, right, in Pomona, just with my friends and everything. We saw all sorts of awesome bands there. I remember like one band that I thought was not as good as, like my favorite band, one of my favorites was Saves the Day. I loved Saves the Day, like that in 2000, that album, Through Being Cool, I loved that album. And when we went to go see them and they played with Newfound Glory. And Newfound Glory was awesome live. They were like, yeah. And then Saves the Day came up later. I just burped into the mic. Sorry, I just burped into the mic.
It's all like distorted. Mountain Dew's not hitting.
Yeah, now I'm another sip. So, anyways, but one time we saw Goldfinger there.
Yeah.
And I got on stage with them too. And then there was this like documentary by like the Fox 11
And you
News
made it into the
like, and they're
documentary?
like, punk rock, and it's like, it's really funny. Like in the 90s, and they're like, bro, there's Kenny. And he's like into the mic. And I'm like, ah. So anyways, my goal in life was to be, how can I keep doing this? How can I go surfing?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like history. I like reading. So I'll be a history teacher. I'll go surfing a lot. And then we'll just have a band and we'll just jam.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to do. And then I changed my life quite a bit. But and then I decided I'm going to be an auditor. That's what I want
Just
to
a
do.
dramatic change.
I want to just be an IT auditor. Every day there's something that just draws me to that. It's such a bad fit. I was such a bad fit for my role. So bad.
Like, what would have happened if the teenage Kenny met the auditor Kenny?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Probably. I mean, it's just totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. People change, man. People change. But you know what? I still love music quite a bit.
Yeah.
I like having a good time. So I don't know. I think audit's pretty cool, man. I just like wait. I can understand it. I can help you understand, right?
Yeah.
Let me explain. That's what I would tell him. Right? Okay. This little wire is going all. Let me explain, Kenny. That is we should write it. Yeah. Maybe we'll do a little. We can do a little creative thing on that.
Absolutely. Man, this sounds like a book.
Let's do it.
I still feel like, so, they did a review last week, and the guy from Album VC, was the
Sid.
Yeah,
He's
Sid.
Awesome.
And he was heavily influenced by the grunge music scene. And but it's permeated into his profession, which is VC. Now he calls every one of his funds an album, because it's full of 20 tracks or 20 investments, and everything kind of has this overarching music theme, because it's runs deep. And so I feel even though you're not on stage with Goldfinger anymore, I feel there's probably parts of that music scene that are still kind of interwoven
Absolutely.
into
Yeah.
what you do now.
We've kind of got a little bit of a lo-fi vibe going through us, right? But we love lo-fi. I don't know, man. Music's still a big part of my life. I still play. I had a surgery a while ago, so I can't shred quite the same I did, but I stayed with it. I still love music. I don't know. I'm a little more eclectic, but every now I just like stuff that rocks too.
Yeah.
So Neal, we were talking about, so Neal is kind of not, I don't know too many Neals, but I do know one Neal.
Yeah.
And his name is Neil Armstrong. When he told me his name is Neil Armstrong, I laughed at him. I'm like, no, seriously, what's your name? He's like, no, it's Neil Armstrong.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, but he's related to him. And so that Neil.
What's the relationship? It's a grandfather or something?
No, I forget. Neil, if you're listening, what's up, man? What's up, man? So Neil's awesome. Me and Matt Carroll and Neil went to see Face to Face in Lagwagon.
Oh, wow.
In Salt Lake. And it was such a blast. I hadn't been to a show in 20 years, right? Because I don't really care. But Face to Face in Lagwagon,
Yeah.
let's go, man. That was awesome. Everybody was moshing, all these old 40-year-olds with me, moshing. I was doing crowd surfing. It was fun, man.
Right back to the old kid.
Yeah, that's fun, man.
Yeah.
That's so fun, man.
Best.
Are you kidding? I don't know. But so, dude, Neil, man, you into music, right? We had that connection. You're also into film for a little bit.
Yeah, still really into film. I was telling you, back in 2013, 2012, Airbnb was still really new. And so we had this idea of hey, a lot of people are getting more comfortable staying at other people's houses in the United States, but the idea of going to a place like Mexico and staying at an Airbnb, a stranger's house, is still a little bit foreign or scary. And so we're we should create a video of us just going down the Baja Strip from San Diego all the way down to Cabo and then back, and do it on motorcycles, make it a fun little web series. And so we were yeah, we could probably get them to pay for this, because they need to dispel how scary that could be to go internationally with Airbnb. And now all that's gone. People go all over the world and they book an Airbnb. They don't even care about it. But 10, 11 years ago, there was still a little bit of I don't know if I would do that.
Trepidation.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
And so we're okay, well, how do we get them to pay for it? And the first inclination was oh, well, maybe they have a partnerships director or or whatever. We're just trying to work our way up the chain. And then I was thinking to myself, I was like, dude, why don't we just email the CEO, like Brian Chesky, like the founder of Airbnb.
Okay.
And I was like, he probably gets hit up a lot. So like, we'll try to craft an email that like looks very unique and like to the point where like,
Oh no. All right.
so like I don't remember exactly what my email said, but it like it mentioned like the DeLorean, like the vehicle, the DeLorean.
Yeah.
It mentioned like all these like weird ideas. And he replied back like that night, and he's like, I don't know if this whole email is a metaphor, but I'm kind of interested. So let's.
That's wild.
And so
cool.
they didn't give us much money. I mean, they gave us like $12,000 to do the trip, and we said, hey, can we also bring on some other sponsors? You know, because we're like, we might need more than $12,000. And so they're like, yeah, you can do other sponsors too. So like when we had Airbnb's name, it was kind of like we found like a Mexican insurance company. We're like, hey, we're doing a project with Airbnb. Then the Mexican insurance company's like, all right, we'll pay for all your bike insurance for the trip. You know, and like, and then so everything we needed, like we were able to just kind of like round up.
Whoa.
And we went down.
Wow.
We went down, and we kind of had. There was a guy.
That's so cool.
There was a guy that like, you know, came on the trip that was like on The Bachelorette that season.
Nice. So was he attractive or?
Yeah, he's really good looking guy. His name
Okay.
is Brooks Forrester.
Yeah.
And then we had another. We had kind of like a plethora of guys that like joined, and one of the guys that came was Eric Hill, who he ended up passing away on
Yeah.
do you know him?
No, go.
So he comes on this trip, meets Brooks Forrester, and he's like, dude, I'll go on The Bachelorette. So he goes on The Bachelorette like the next season, and he gets like the first one-on-one date with the girl, and he ends up like telling her that like the one-on-one date goes like good. I don't know if you watch. Do you watch this show?
Not really.
Don't
no.
admit it if you do.
No, I don't. Yeah. I totally don't know who Eric Hill is. Confession, sorry.
he was like famous, and like I feel like the scene of like door-to-door sales guys, like he crushed it like with some of like the early like Apex Vivint stuff.
Okay.
And then when he went on The Bachelorette, then like a lot of people recognized him because that was like a big TV show 10 years ago. But anyways, he ended up like getting kicked off The Bachelorette, like because he like had an argument with her, feeling like she was like acting fake because of the cameras. And then he came back to Utah, and then he went, you know, like the point of the mountain where like guys throw up the parachutes and they like kind of like they like glide on the point of the mountain.
Yeah.
He was doing that, and half of his parachute collapsed, and it like spun him like out of control, and his head went into the hill. And they tried to save him, but it was like impossible.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think
right.
I vaguely remember something about that because I was at Adobe at that time. Right?
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a sad day, but this trip was super fun.
Yeah.
But we come back from this trip and we show the footage we do create like an initial edit of the footage, and we show it to Airbnb, and they're like, yeah, we hate this. they like it was too raw, you know. So like there was like we stayed at like a really nice beach house one night. And, you know, it was right on the Sea of Cortez, and like had like an infinity pool. They loved when we stayed at places like that. But one night we stayed at like the mayor's house, and he had like a guest house that was like really run down and crappy. And we stayed at this place, and we thought it was interesting because like, dude, we're staying at the mayor's house. You know, we thought like this was like a noteworthy thing, but they're like, dude, it looks really grungy. Like it looked like you guys were staying in like a stereotypical Tijuana type like rundown place, and so like we don't want this footage.
It's the mayor, man. Come on.
No, it's the mayor. So this is what we did. So we take this footage, and they're like, you can do whatever you want with it. And so we resold it. We resold it to one of their competitors, VRBO. And they took it, and they made sure that all the places we stayed were also listed on VRBO, and then so we ended up getting to sell the series twice.
So nice you sell it twice.
Yeah, so nice you sell it twice.
So good, man. That's incredible, man. That it's so business is so crazy, because it's really it's it's just so haphazard. Some of the things that happen, you're
Yeah.
just like, dang, what an opportunity. And so you're just that's just so incredible. That's a great story.
So you're the CEO of Paramify. Like, at what point do you think, like, unknown emails are going to make it to you and you're going to respond? Or have you already stopped that altogether now?
No, I think, I don't know, it's just promotional emails because I went, I go, when we don't have any customers, no one really knows who we are. You go to like a show, you go talk to people, and at first you're like, hey, let me tell you about Paramify.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like, we can handle all your compliance documentation. And people, at the sales conferences are always like, oh, that sounds amazing. You know what? Let me put you in touch with someone.
Yeah, they
And
try
you
to-
get all excited, and you're like, oh my gosh. And so I'll go talk to people. Look at all these people that said they like it. And it's just...
It's more
a lot-
salespeople, right?
It's a lot more involved, right, than that. But it's okay. I think the naivete of everything. So now I just get those emails.
Yeah.
And so I just have all the filters. And the other thing is, people will say like, hey, Kenny, like, I'm so-and-so from X company. I'm like, you stop by our booth. I'm like, and you seemed interested in our thing. I'm like, actually, the conversation was actually about Paramify.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to them, and then they never call back.
It's going to get weird when AI gets to the point that it's becoming such a strong sales force out there that like you're going to like you're going to use AI to like combat like inbound emails and just like filter stuff out. And so it's going to be interesting to see like how people get creative about like still getting in contact with people and cold call.
Yeah, it is so. You know what I thought was bold of Google? Like, so I watch a lot of football, and so I saw this new commercial with Google. With the AI, like, you take a picture and you can make it look so like something. They can totally distort the image to make it look like you're dunking, or you're jumping like crazy high, or you threw your kid like 10 feet up in the air.
Yeah.
And everybody, that was like the main feature, like to just like mess with photos and have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, but to me, that is a little off-putting. Like, to me, it's a little off-putting because I like being genuine. I like being real.
Yeah.
I'm like, Mr. Hill, who was like getting dumped on The Bachelorette because he wasn't being real.
Yeah.
And I think people want genuine connection. So that's really interesting. I don't know. I've been thinking a lot about that lately, is that what's real, what's not real.
Yeah.
People want it to be real. People want real relationships. People want, I don't know.
This is one area where I feel like over the last couple of years, everyone's gotten really used to like just distancing themselves, like working from home. And I had something happen to our house recently, like that we had to like move out. Like the foundation started like having issues, and so we had to move out. It's getting worked on, but while we're away, like I don't have access to my home office. So I've been like just going into friends' offices or going into Kiln, and just like working out of those places. And it's been like amazing to like kind of like to like zag when everyone's zigging, like the trend has been like, so like go work in your own home. But when you start like getting out there and like going to places, like it's like you don't have to worry about like getting caught in someone's spam filter, like you're just talking to them while you're getting the yogurt at the breakfast at Kiln,
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love personal connection. I'm an extrovert. My co-founder was like Tyler. He's not as like extroverted as I am, so I didn't realize how much I like drain his energy.
Just being around him.
I get so much energy, obviously, from being with people. I love it, but I love.
We gotta take Steven to a show, dude. Take him to a concert, and then.
Tyler.
Oh, Tyler. Yeah.
Tyler?
Sorry.
I don't see Tyler, in a mosh pit. I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't know. That's okay. Tyler, love you, man. Great guy. Okay, so there's some themes we've talked about. Trepidation, fearing change.
Yeah.
Right? People don't like it. It takes a long time for people to want to buy a new product. It takes a long time to sell people on your idea. It takes a lot of effort. You have to really provide value to people. And so you've talked in the past. I went to one of your. You talked. I can't remember when, but you talked about the adoption of AI, and so we're coming up about a year
Yeah.
since like ChatGPT became like all the rage, right? And people were started writing songs with ChatGPT, doing essays and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about. Can you talk about that? You talk about industrial revolution, all that stuff. So tell me about that again. I want to talk about that.
Yeah, at that little AI event, like I wanted to like set the stage a little bit so you understood like how long it's taken the human race to kind of do various milestones. And so like the first one would be like the agricultural revolution, where like, modern farming, where like you could feed lots of people with like, a small plot of land. And that farming style took like thousands of years, like millennia, to like cover to cover the whole earth.
Okay.
To the point where like there still might be like hunter gatherers out there, but they're very few. Like it's like the agricultural farming. Like this is the way that humans have decided we're going to feed everyone, and we need less people to do it. And so that took thousands of years to happen over the surface of the earth. Then you had the Industrial Revolution, where like you're building like big cities, even like big, factories, warehouses. Like you're starting to optimize, electricity. You're starting to optimize some of the ways that you get these food products to everyone, and you can do it in a way where you can condense a lot of people into a small area. And the Industrial Revolution took a few hundred years to cover the entire Earth. Then we had the Information, revolution, where like we covered the entire Earth in data centers, and you are now like able to connect to computers from all over the world to these data centers and exchange information. That took a couple decades. So like you got agricultural taking thousands of years, Industrial Revolution taking hundreds of years, the data centers or the information, revolution taking decades. And the theory is that like the AI revolution will happen in less than a decade.
Yeah.
So it will be years, not decades, not hundreds of years. It's gonna be like years.
Yeah.
And so, I think it's still on track for that. I feel like the kickoff for like the main AI revolution was like the release of ChatGPT, and that's when the light bulb moment happened for everyone.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so we're like coming up on a year anniversary of that, and it's amazing what's already been done. But it's like it's kind of like everyone got access to a tool, and now they're like trying to figure out, okay, what problems can we solve with this tool? And that led me, like as soon as I saw ChatGPT, like I pretty much dropped everything I was doing. I was
You
like,
had another company.
Yeah, at another company.
Yeah.
And it was like a human expertise company, a subject matter expert company where you could like kind of do micro consulting, like,
Such
get
a
advice
cool
on
thing.
something.
I loved it. That was great.
But it was interesting to like release a tool that helped you connect to human experts at a time when like the AI revolution started, because it was kind of like, I don't know, like why would I pay $20, even though $20 is a good price to talk to this one person for like 15, 20 minutes,
I can ask chat.
when I could just pay $20 to have access for an entire month to ChatGPT 4.
Right.
So it was like I saw it as like a big shift, and so I started like thinking about the problems that we could solve with a tool like this, and it took me months of kind of like poking around and figuring out what I wanted to do. But the thing that I looked into every industry. I looked into I talked to lawyers, talking about like, hey, can we use this to create a mock trial real quickly, create the participants of a mock trial, have like really solid arguments that go up against your argument. And, I was looking at it from like every different angle, but I found this really unique one that looked like it was untapped, and it looked like there was a big customer base for a tool like it. But I noticed the problem. The problem has always been there, but I noticed it kind of got heightened with the tech layoffs last year. So there was like a bunch of layoffs. Yeah, some of the big
Still
tech companies.
happening.
It's still happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Qualtrics
Pretty
just did
crazy.
800.
There's another one I heard about today. Brutal. Yeah.
Is it public yet, or you?
I just saw it on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay.
It was pretty terrible. So if it's true, it stinks. Like,
Yeah.
besides the point, they just like 60 people on a Zoom call, just let everybody off.
Yeah, I
Right.
know. That's
So sad.
It's tough. It's like the tech world is like really, they're going through a change right now. And I think I know what that change is going to look like once we're like through all this. But it's led to like this crazy situation where like you post like a software product manager job, like in Utah, like you'll get like 500 applicants in like 24 hours.
Yep.
And so this is where I saw the problem initially. I was like, there's no way a human can actually talk to 500 people without it taking like months, like it would just take forever. And so I was like, they got this like recruiting and bringing people, and talent acquisition is always going to be about people to people contact. Yeah. But there was like this spot in their process where like you just can't have a human do it or do it well. So I noticed that like recruiters would get 500 applicants and they would cut like 485 of them like Tinder style. They would literally just like pull up their LinkedIn profiles, just swipe like based off of like their job title, whatever. And and they would eliminate 485 just based off of like one data point, job title, what their name is, whatever. And so I was like, I know they're missing out on people just because they don't have enough time to talk to all these. And so anyways, that led me down the rabbit hole of like building what we're building at ScreenDoor.
Yeah, so cool.
It's incredible,
So ScreenDoor.ai, right? Is
Yeah,
that what it's
ScreenDoor. Dude, how was that domain available? I felt like that was a good domain. And
Yeah,
like
it's a good-
solid,
good
yeah.
name.
as soon as ChatGPT came out, like everyone people went in and bought up all the .ai domains. And so like when I was like figuring out what to name the company, it was like 6 months after ChatGPT launched and all the domains were already bought up. But I was like, you know what? Let me just try ScreenDoor. And it was available. And I was like, done. It's like a perfect name.
Yeah, it is a perfect name. I love it. You see, like we're not capable of dealing with all sorts of data,
Totally.
right? We just can't crunch it. We don't need to. We just need to know like, oh, man, that pizza looks awesome. I'm going to eat it. Or or this person's super attractive.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask for their number or something like that, right?
Yeah.
We don't think like that. We're not, we know if we have, like if we're in the Star Wars universe, we know that we're not going to go up to Darth Vader and like ask him which one of those buttons calls his mom to pick him up, right? We're not going to do that because we understand Darth Vader, like you just don't mess with him. I don't know if chat would know that, but AI does have the ability to say, hey, maybe we can put some more controls around that Death Star exhaust port.
Yeah, totally.
Right. We're able to kind of crunch that. Hey, this is actually super catastrophic if this happens. And so you need that data to be, crunched by machines, right?
Yeah.
Versus just, this is what I know. I'm going with my gut here.
Yeah.
And so I see what you're doing there. That's awesome.
It's crazy. Like even just from the previous generation to like kind of our generation, like we don't store data like the previous generation did. So it's not like we have more data and we store less of it inside of ourselves. Like if we don't memorize phone numbers like the previous generation did. We don't memorize a lot of the stuff that we now just like say, oh, I don't internalize, the address for that pizza store.
Yep.
I just like, if I want the address to the pizza store, I just go to this tool and this tool provides it to me. I go to Google Maps and it gives me that data. Whereas there was a lot of stuff committed to memory in the previous generations. So now we're like trying to figure out like, now we have way more data than you could ever store internally.
Yeah.
And now you needed to figure out ways to use it to kind of make better decisions for.
It's an interesting point, right? Because education is based off of like rote memorization in the early years. And so what use is that? It's not really useful because you're not going to be as good as a computer at recalling facts. Like my boy, like we were going to his football game the other day, and he was telling me, he's like, Dad, did you know that the state bird of Utah is the seagull? And I'm like, why is that like important? I'm like, why is that important, right? I'm just like, dude, but he was paying attention. He's really good. He wants to be a good student and everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, man.
There's.
Why?
I was thinking about, so what's the month and day of your birthday?
June 1st.
June 1st. Okay, what day of the week?
Marilyn Monroe was born on that day too.
Really?
And Michael J. Fox,
No way.
Andy Griffith. Yeah.
Okay,
Do you
what?
know how to whistle? The Andy Griffith?
But if I were to ask you, like, what day of the week were you born on?
Oh.
I never needed to know that.
Think about how long it would take you to calculate that out by hand. How would you figure it out?
I would do it like this.
No.
What day of the week was June 1st, 1982? Oh, I actually unclicked it. What day of the week was June 1st, 1982? It was Tuesday.
It was a Tuesday. You were born on a Tuesday.
That's so
You went your
awesome.
whole life
No
without knowing you
wonder.
were born on a Tuesday.
I think that's a great day. Tuesdays,
It's a solid day.
that's a
Yeah.
solid day. We work on Tuesdays.
We do.
I love it.
Taco Tuesday, dude. It's
Taco
just,
Taco Tuesday, like.
I love tacos. I love tacos. I love pizza too.
but it's a weird.
I love sushi.
It's like the day you were born. Like you theoretically, like you take one day out of the year to like think about this day, every day for the last 40 years or whatever, and you don't remember what day of the week it was. Like
Yeah.
that's like how limited we are on like the data we're able to actually like hold and like process. Like I don't know, it's crazy to think about.
Yeah, it's just we
wild.
don't need to. And yeah, and I think we also need to understand like the limitations of
Yeah.
just AI only because we're humans and this is, the crown of creation, right? It's humans, right? And so it's like we're the ones that are making the decisions and we can use AI to help us make decisions, but we don't necessarily always make logical decisions,
No.
I mean, the logical thing to do is often, you can do the logical thing to do, but then you're not going to come out with like crazy cool outcomes. You have
Yeah.
to do things that are not logical almost all the time, right? To really move things forward. Everything else is like status quo and like logical, and there's
Yeah.
no growth there. So it's kind of weird. Like if you give it all to AI, are you going to get the next inventions, right? I don't think so.
No, but it's really just about it being a tool. I feel like it's not like I don't think we're any. This is just my opinion, but like I don't really like people that like are alarmist about certain like doomsday type events. I don't
you
like
can
it.
appreciate that you like them, but you don't like that they're being doomsday, or you just straight up like
Well,
write
I
them
just
off.
no. I just mean like I mean,
just
look,
kidding,
what,
sorry.
the first, the first, what was it? The Inconvenient Truth. That came out in like what, 2005 ish. That was like a documentary. That was like the first like big like, hey, global warming is going to be like really bad, and within 10 years we're going to see full blown polar ice caps melted, and that didn't happen.
Nope.
But it's not to say that it's not an important issue to try to solve. It's just I'm not like a doomsdayer about it. Like whereas like some of the global warming people like have done it, or even Elon Musk with like AI. Like I think Elon Musk is like I love him, but I feel like he's like an alarmist about this topic, where it's kind of like he's acting like I don't know, like it's going to be the end of the world really really soon, and I just don't feel that way entirely, and so. Like to me, like AI still feels like we're very long ways away from it being like self-conscious or self-aware, and doing stuff on its own. It's mainly just like a really powerful tool that will be utilized by humans to do things that were never possible before, mathematics that were never possible before, or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I'm curious, where do you see AI going in like the next decade?
Oh, dude, like anything that can be like automated is going to be automated. So if you say the same thing at your job, it's just gonna happen. Like it's just if you're doing the same rote thing every single day, there will be a robot that's trained to do it, or there will be an AI that's like got a language model that will do it like virtually. And so the world will look a lot different, but like it doesn't mean that jobs are going to go away. It's just going to be like this is a new tool that we work with. So like software engineering is one of those places that's going to get disrupted a lot. And
yeah.
there's a beta
It's already starting.
Yeah, it's
We were
already
just
starting.
Talking about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a GitHub, which is used for like code repositories, and they have a beta for Copilot X. And Copilot X basically like has access to like your repo, your code repo. And so like you just talk to it like a normal person, you could give it the requirements from a ticket from a product manager, and it will just build it into the code.
Yep.
And
pretty
so
amazing.
it just the same way, just to kind of circle back, like we used to have like a very large portion of the population farming. And now, do you know what percent of the population farms now?
Oh, it's tiny.
Yeah, it's like 2-3%. Like it's like so 3% of
But
like
there
the
are
population.
farmers.
There are farmers. Yeah, there's still
Yeah.
farmers.
Yeah, they're just really good at it.
Yeah,
And
they're so
using-
efficient at it and they use all the technology available for watering and planting, and so they're able to like feed the other 97% of the people. And so the same thing will happen with software engineers, because software engineers have gotten to the point where like we give them all their tasks in these really well written user stories, and those user stories now can just be read by an AI that can just build it into the repo. And so we'll still have software engineers, but like the ones that exist are going to be so efficient, they'll actually accomplish more. They'll basically be like the farmers that now feed 97% of the people.
Yeah, I mean, it's already happening. Everybody wants AI superpowers. That's what you want.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be kind of like the wizard that is casting a spell. There's that great divergence that is happening. The people who use and leverage AI,
Totally.
and those who won't. Right. I think ultimately, I feel really strong about this, that when you handle the things that are like logical, it allows us humans to develop those things that are in odd packages. Excellence usually comes in odd packaging, right? It's usually something that you hadn't thought of before, and when you have more time to not do the terrible tasks, right, that are like monotonous, and that's when progress happens.
Yeah.
That's when so it's super exciting. Anyway, okay, man. So in the Fellowship, who's your favorite character?
Aragorn.
Aragorn. Yeah, that's me.
Classic answer.
Do you have a runner-up?
Sam. But
Yes, exactly.
Solid. Yeah.
I mean, it's like very likely everybody. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's who I picked. That's what
Really?
I said. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a really interesting idea from someone recently. So when they shot the Peter Jackson trilogy, they shot, do you know how many how many feet of film? Because they shot it on regular film, 35 millimeter film. How many feet of film they filmed the trilogy with?
I have no idea. How many feet?
7 million. So
Whoa.
7 million feet of footage. And they created the theatrical versions. Then they did the extended cuts. But there is still another 30 hours of scenes, like backstory when Aragorn first meets, his love, like all sorts of like other character development that they cut, and it's all sitting on this film, this 35 millimeter film that hasn't been 4K scanned yet, and it's in like some sort of protected warehouse in like Arizona or something like that. And so someone started a petition, like, dude, let's take this out, and we'll get it all scanned in. And then with this additional footage, you would make the trilogy into basically like a 10 episode miniseries, where every one's like an hour and a half long. And so like you would create like a new format of telling the story, but you would include all this new footage, dude.
Oh,
That'd be so cool.
it seems like a lot of work to kind of get through that. It feels like
But it's like a
Peter
guaranteed home
Jackson,
run.
like already
Oh, yeah.
tailored. Here's the best stuff, right? Like I don't know, man. There's just so much. I can't dedicate myself to anything except Star Wars.
Understandable.
Star Wars. I just don't have the resources. I can't. I mean, I watched all of Ahsoka.
Was it good?
Actually, I like the Marvel series. I like Loki. Are you watching that?
No.
It's awesome.
Really?
I think it's cool.
Really?
I don't know. I know that I have like just my taste. I mean, I'm the one who I don't really love chocolate, so I'm already.
That's true.
I don't love it. I'm okay with it. So I have an opinion that's usually not the same as everybody else's. I also love pickles. I love pickles.
Dills?
Pickles are good.
I
Pickles
love
are good.
pickles so much.
Do you ever pickle your own stuff?
Yeah,
Really?
Oh, really?
yeah, like I make pickles.
Nice.
Yeah, I've done it. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool process.
That's
interesting
awesome.
Process. Yeah. Okay, man. What books? So you mentioned a couple books when we were talking before the show. What book are you reading right now? Why do you like it? Why is it important?
So one of the books I read this summer was called Talking with Strangers by Malcolm Gladwell, the same guy who wrote Blink and
Great.
Tipping Point. And the reason I picked it up is because I'm working on this Screen Door project, which is introducing an AI that's going to interact with potential candidates for a job. And I wanted to understand where are humans vulnerable to weakness when quickly assessing whether or not someone's going to be a good fit for the company or add value to the company or be a risk or liability to the company.
Yep.
And this book just really articulated it in an amazing way and even showed some of the studies that were involved in understanding why humans are so bad at quickly sizing up someone.
Yep.
And at the root of it is that one of the reasons is they oversimplify the person that they're judging. And they can show this in studies. So one of the studies, they bring someone in, they bring in a bunch of participants and the participants sit down and they're shown these partially completed words. So it will say B, L, blank, blank. And you're supposed to take the first word that comes to your mind, which in this case is
Crunk.
well, B, L, blank.
That's all right. You just told me.
Sorry. So four-letter word that starts with B, L.
Blue.
Blue. Yeah, blue.
Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
You said what's the first word you're thinking of?
Okay, so blue.
Yeah.
Blue is the first word that comes to your mind. So they would do this for a few different words, and then they would ask the participant, okay, what do you think these words tell us about the person that you are? And almost universally, all of them are this doesn't say anything. This is just random. It doesn't tell you anything about me. But then they would show them other participants' words. So someone else's words that they came up with. And they would say, do you think this tells us anything about them? And they would be oh yeah, this person's this person's, judgmental, or this person is whatever. So the idea was everyone felt they were a hard to understand creature, but everyone else was super simple, could be sized up immediately based off of some random words that came up in their mind, and so that's at one of the roots of the problem is that we just
see generalizations.
Yeah, we quickly size up people by just oversimplifying them, and it turns out people are a lot more complex than that. And so the AI actually has the time to unravel all that complexity, whereas the humans they can't. So this is why, I don't know, that's why we're building the tool, is it kind of gives people more information about the people they're bringing into the company.
Could be highly successful in this role. Could be highly successful doing this kind of thing. Yeah. That makes a ton of sense.
Oh yeah.
And kind of your sidekick. We talked about it. AI provides you a C3PO.
Yeah.
Right. That can kind of help you. I think when people get a little worried is when you have an AI that's making decisions for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in security, it would be okay, let's start shutting everything off. You know, that could be a big problem. Or making a bunch of incorrect configurations. And so you do need, to that point, you still need the 2 to 3% or even hopefully more, right, that are still making decisions and helping kind of shepherd.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
the next
always
AI solutions, right?
one thing that comes to mind is remember a few years back, there was some trading that was happening like algorithmically. So like just like automated trading.
It's been happening a long time.
It's been happening a long time, but there was like a crash that started because the algorithm just like started doing a rapid sell-off and it crashed the market. And everyone was kind of mad because all these people ended up getting their money back, even though their computer systems and their bots were the ones doing the trading and breaking the system.
Yeah.
But the bot was allowed to make a decision, and it was an incorrect decision, and that led another bot to make another incorrect decision, and so like it could really get out of hand quickly in a situation like where like two bots are trading against each other. But where do you guys see it? Kind of like, I don't know. Where do you guys see it? Like, where do you think the risks are happening now?
So I like it for forecasting, for issues and helping assess risk.
Like flag risk and stuff? Like,
Yeah, I think putting context around, is this, are these things exploitable? What, it's really, really hard. Like humans are really bad at measuring. We make really bad judgments on what the future looks like because we just don't know. Because we're in a world with other humans, right, which are very complex. We're very complex creatures. We like different things, and so it's just really helpful to have these kind of superpowers at our side, right, to help aid and make better decisions, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
yeah.
I'm optimistic for the future too. And a lot of that is probably naivete, and that's okay. I mean, you have to be a little naive, otherwise it's not fun. If you know everything already, then like,
Where's the fun in that?
Where's the fun in that? And so, in fact, to be an entrepreneur, you have to, that is one of your superpowers too, is naivete. I don't know what's going to happen. But we have a pretty good feeling about this, and so good decisions come based off of good information. AI kind of helps us decorate, the information that we have. Generalize a little, because ultimately, what do we want? We want to make we want a generalization. Because if we don't generalize, then like, how can we make any decision?
No.
You need frameworks to make yourself agile. AI helps you put together custom frameworks. And when you have frameworks, you can make good decisions. Mustard or ketchup.
Yeah.
Yeah, you already know because you've built that framework over the years, right?
Yeah.
And when you're just introducing more complexity, AI can help you make that decision a little bit easier. Ultimately, you need to generalize something.
Yeah.
That's just how humans are. That's how I am.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So at a certain point, you just have to kind of call it and just be like, okay,
Good enough. Let's go.
This is as much information as we. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I had a teacher that used to say paralysis by analysis. Like he would just say that all the time. And people that just get stuck. And so like as an entrepreneur though, like it's not possible. Like you kind of like you're on a journey, you're on a hike, and you don't have time to like stop at every little thing. At a certain point you just gotta keep going.
Yeah. Well, you're in kind of a new area because you're gonna be you're breaking into something that is going to be new, right?
Yeah,
and probably other people are going to be trying to solve it. You'll
Yeah,
have
for sure.
competitors, hopefully. Hopefully you have competitors, right? And I really like this quote I read recently. It's difficult to get a person to understand something when their salary depends on them not understanding it. And that's one of the things that you face because you're trying to sell this to people that they're like, wow, I actually don't need to do that task anymore. I can use this tool.
Yeah.
How are you going to get past that, do you think, with ScreenDoor? We're still trying to figure out how to do this because we make things so much more efficient.
Yeah, so it requires less people to do the same job. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, recruiting's definitely getting like that. But recruiters aren't going to go away. They're just going to become more efficient. They're going to be able to do more job openings simultaneously. They'll be able to do stuff in different countries all over the world without language barrier issues. Like they'll be able to do stuff that they weren't able to do before. And so like it's not like those jobs go away. But it does mean that like there could be so let me give you some background onto like recruiting. So like recruiters roughly spend a third of their time kind of like sourcing candidates a third of their time kind of like vetting and kind of like interviewing, doing the initial screeners on candidates,
Yeah.
and a third of their time doing other administrative stuff or negotiating contracts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so ScreenDoor eliminates kind of that 1/3 bucket where they're doing the initial screeners.
Got you.
But that's a really repetitive part of their job, and it does it. So that means that they have 2/3 of their time, they can commit more time to sourcing candidates, or
Yep.
they can commit time to doing something else, or the company that adopts a tool like this they can shed a third of their staff. But but that's scary to think about. But it's like that's what is going to happen. Like it's just like the candidate quality are going to get better because AI is used, and they'll be able to do it faster, and it will allow the good recruiters to spend more time figuring out more creative ways to source good candidates, like get more of them in the pipeline in the first place, which is kind of what they like to do now. I mean, like they like to spend more time doing the less repetitive stuff. And so I think anytime like you're doing something that's like so one of the things that annoys recruiters also is like they have to like be the middleman for like the candidate, the hiring manager. And they'll oftentimes like have to like email updates because like the hiring manager will ping them like, hey, what's the deal with this candidate, or what's the deal with this? And they hate it. And so we built this bot that like basically just talks to the hiring manager for them. So like, hey, like instead of pinging the recruiter with just stupid questions, like just ask this ChatGPT like bot, and it knows how many people have been screened. It knows every single conversation that's ever took place. It knows every transcript, and you can ask it all in real time and get an immediate answer.
Seems powerful.
Yeah, and so the recruiter's like, hey, I don't have this person bug me anymore. So like it gives me more time to source more candidates or get more jobs or look into exploring different offices in different countries that like we've kind of wanted to do, but now we like really think we should do. Like, and we're starting to see that all over the place. Like with Cultrix, they got a new office in Mexico City and like 100 engineering person team, and the engineers there are about 1/3 the cost of like what a US based engineer is. So you get 3 engineers in Mexico City for the price of 1 here. And so that's a trend that's gonna potentially continue, which means that recruiters are gonna have to get really good with international talent acquisition. And an AI tool like this is gonna be so beneficial to them. So the ones that are like,
You have to use it if you want to do that.
yeah,
You have to use it, otherwise someone else is going to pick up the wand, right, and
Yeah.
start casting the spells.
I mean, imagine if I told you like, hey, Paramify needs to open up, you need to go to Nepal and you need to start a 50
I love those people. Yeah, I love
you got to
it.
start a 50-person team. And that
Talk
does
to my
this.
friend Sway.
You already have connections there? All right, that's cheating. But I mean, like, it would feel a little overwhelming. And this allows you to kind of like, just navigate those types of like obstacles in a much different way. Imagine being able to talk to like 3,000 Nepal people, software engineers, without ever actually talking to them, and be able to get everything you need to know about like who are the cream of the crop in this area.
So where are the limitations though too? It's like, I mean, I don't know, we can probably talk about this forever because I just love it, right? But AI's not, like, there's still issues with accuracy.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot, I mean, and sometimes it's just really bad. And a lot of times it's really bad. Yeah, but it gets you 70% of the way there.
Yeah.
Or 60% of the way, or sometimes it's even better. But I think that's why you need to have the human element. So in the problem you described, like, where does it go wrong, right? Where does AI go wrong, like on a problem this big?
Yeah, so there's like a famous story that kind of went viral a few months ago where this Asian woman like has like a she has like a headshot and she like uploads it into an AI tool and she tells the AI like, just make this headshot more professional looking. And it turns her into a white woman that's basically got like a Hillary Clinton, like, pantsuit on, and so it was like really weird because like, and the AI just felt like, oh, professional women look like Hillary Clinton or whatever. And so it changed her race. And so like, that was like something that was like kind of alarming to people. But one of the reasons why I kind of had a moment where I was like, do we have to pause for a second? Okay. I kind of had this moment where I was worried about that too. I was like, how do I prove to these future customers that like the AI is unbiased?
Yeah.
And then I was talking to one of the future customers, and they're like, I don't care if the AI is biased. He's like, I just need to know it's less biased than the humans, and the humans are really biased. And so when you look at the human behavior that's going on right now, a human looks at like a resume, they see like a unique name, they make a decision about who this person is.
Yeah.
Or they see that this person graduated college in 85, they make a decision about who this person is. And these people are not given the same chances. Like whether or
Yeah.
not they try to like stop it themselves, like
can't.
this information that has gone to your head has now created a image of like what this candidate is and whether or not they're a good fit. So they're like disqualifying people based off of like discriminatory stuff all the time.
Yeah.
With the AI, we don't have to tell the AI what the person's name is. We don't have to tell them where they went to college. We don't have to tell them what year they graduated. We don't have to tell them like any of the things that we don't care about. And so like it's like kind of refreshing for candidates because it's kind of like they know they're getting ranked based off of like pure qualification and cultural fit and nothing else. And they're not being thrown away just because they have a funny name. I talked to someone when Sid from Album VC, one of the women that work for him, her last name is Flores.
Yeah, she's
And
awesome.
yeah, she's super cool. And she said that like her husband was applying to a bunch of different places and getting no responses, and he changed his last name. He switched his last name to just like a kind of like Smith, type last name.
Or Schmidt.
Or Schmidt, yeah, maybe it was Schmidt.
The German version.
Yeah, the German version of Smith. And he got like all these responses, and I don't know how much of that was like she actually looked into the numbers, but there's probably some truth to it.
Yeah.
And so
It's just how humans are, man. The first person, what did I see? Like, we discriminate, right? The first person,
hard.
if everybody's the exact same, the first person to grow a mustache is going to be ostracized, right?
yeah,
It's just, and so that is cool because you have AI to kind of help make that decision. But ultimately, one of the things that you can do is you build a real relationship with people, and it cuts through all of that.
Yeah.
So you want that opportunity to create that relationship.
totally.
You want that ability to do it. Man, this was awesome. Thanks so much, man.
Thanks for having me.
So Aragorn.
Thank you, Neal.
Aragorn.
Yeah.
We got that noted down. It's really important. Thanks so much,
Very
Neal,
important.
Neal, for coming on.
Yeah.
I love it.
You'll have to have Neil Armstrong on, and
Yeah, Neil Armstrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
The second
We'll have you
Neil.
on, buddy.
I feel like when you
talking.
promote that, people are gonna be like, "Dude, the Paramify podcast got Neil Armstrong." Because Neil Armstrong
yes.
is still alive, right? Like, or is he dead?
Well, so like, well, I don't know him, but I know Neil, who's related to him,
Yeah.
and he's a great guy.
yeah.
What's up, Neil? I'll just tell Neil to listen to the podcast and put a like on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Oh, man.
Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you, Neal.
We'll see you.